Hi, everyone. Ashley, do you want to go to the next slide? While we wait for everyone to start entering, just feel free to throw in the chat. What experience does your nonprofit have with SEO and PPC? And what are you looking forward to most learning like today? Let us know. Well, we hope you find something helpful today that you take out from this webinar, Tom.
Great. Well, as everyone is trickling in, we can introduce ourselves. Shukri, if you want to go first.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shukri Mohammed. I'm a senior digital marketing specialist here at Community Boost. I wear a lot of hats here at Community Boost. SEO is one of them, supporting on a lot of our SEO strategy. I also help with landing page development and our conversion design as well.
And I'm Ashley Brannon. I am a digital marketing specialist at Community Boost, and I work mainly with Google Ads and SEO along with Shukri, and some CRO as well. So I'm super excited to talk to you all today about linking your PPC and SEO strategy.
Awesome. So before we jump in, we want to set the stage on like why SEO and PPC is important. Your supporters are searching for your organization online, so why not let them find you with SEO and PPC? These stats do speak for themselves, but organic search drives 1,000% more traffic than organic social media. 3.5 billion searches happen online every day, and 68% of online experiences begin with a search engine. So this is a perfect opportunity to be utilizing both SEO and PPC together when determining your marketing strategy.
And there are a lot of common misconceptions about using PPC and SEO strategies together. So a lot of people think, if I run paid search ads, it will decrease my organic results that I was getting for free. And that's actually not true. A lot of research has been done around this, and they found that by adding PPC or paid ads to your organic strategy, you actually bring in more traffic than you would just using one of these channels alone. So at first, yes, by using paid ads, it may cannibalize or take away from some of that traffic that was coming into your website organically. But actually it over time increases the amount of incremental traffic that's coming to your site. And in the long run, you end up getting more traffic to your website by using both of these channels together than just using one alone. And also it increases your brand trust and user trust in your organization by using both paid and organic. So if users are seeing a paid ad at the top of their search engine results page, along with some organic results, then they are more likely to engage with your website through either channel than if you only had a paid ad or only had an organic link.
Awesome. Now that we know some of the benefits of using both of these channels, let's dive into the actual features. What is SEO and what can it offer? SEO is the practice of increasing the quantity and quality of your traffic to your website through organic search engine results. And where do you see these SEO results? Typically, it can appear on any search engine, whether that be Google, Microsoft, and any other search engine results page. that has. We focus, however, our SEO on Google because that's where most organic searches are occurring. And then SEO's main focus is both on page and off page. So a lot of our optimizations do focus both on page and as well as off page to help increase keyword rankings, domain authority, and visibility on SERP as well.
And PPC, or pay-per-click ads, are this model of search advertising where marketers pay for each ad click. And PPC ads on Google are those first website links at the top of your search engine results page. And so they can appear on really any major search engine like Google, Bing, Microsoft. They each have their own platforms for PPC ads. And they're those sponsored links at the top of the page that everyone is familiar with. And PPC's main focus is bidding on keywords against other orgs. So you bid on specific searches that people look up in order to have your website show up for those keywords.
Awesome. Some things to keep in mind when determining your SEO strategy. We like to focus on four main things. One is, remember, SEO is a tactic. It's not a business goal. You should be pairing SEO with other marketing channels, whether that be PPC like Google ads or even Facebook ads. It shouldn't be your end all be all. SEO should be paired with other marketing channels. Also, SEO is good for two things. It's good for keywords with low search volume, but convey searcher intent, and also keywords that have high demand, but low competition. And a lot of these sometimes are longer tail keywords that we like to go after. And then finally, SEO is a long game. The process is a long-term investment. It's not like your Google ads or any sort of paid ads, whether that be Google, Facebook, where you're going to see an ROI right away. SEO takes a while to start seeing those results, whether that be on the first page or even just trying to rank for one keyword. But like any worthwhile investment, it's going to take time to grow. So just some things to keep in mind for SEO on the SEO front.
And PPC, similar to SEO, is a tactic. It's a tool that we can use to achieve our business goals. And PPC is really good for keywords that convey search intent and specific business initiatives. So because PPC ads allow advertisers to bid on specific keywords to show up on the search engine results page for specific keywords, it's important that you're bidding on keywords that really relate to your organization's business goals and specific initiatives that you want to advertise for. PPC also has immediate success. So unlike SEO, where you may need to do optimizations for months in order to see any major dramatic change of showing up on the SERP, PPC ads have essentially like immediate results, since the programs are designed to give websites impressions based off of the keywords that you're bidding for. Essentially, as soon as you start paying, you start getting results. And that is a huge plus for PPC as a tool.
So next, diving into some strengths of both channels, starting with SEO. Some strengths of SEO obviously is it's totally free of cost. It's like I said, you're not putting ad spend behind it, but you are going to be putting in time, and that time is going to depend on how much you're spending on researching those keywords for your high quality content that you're going to be creating. Another thing is audiences are more likely to engage with organic results. I don't know about all of you, but I know sometimes when I'm searching on Google, I try to avoid clicking on the ad that you see at the top. I rather click on the organic search result. Then also with SEO, there's no policy restrictions, whereas with PPC, your ads will get flagged for any sensitive subjects on politics, mental health, medical diagnoses, stuff like that. With SEO, you don't have to worry about that because it's all organic and there's no like policies behind it, whether that be like from Facebook or Google ads. Also, SEO can help increase localized traffic. Using local SEO tools such as Google My Business can help improve your localized traffic in your specific area. And then finally, SEO has sustainable clicks. In contrast with paid search marketing, organically generated traffic does not disappear as soon as you stop paying. Even if you decide to spend less on your SEO services, the efforts you have already made to generate that organic traffic will continue to show in the results.
PPC also has some strengths in terms of your marketing goals. So one strength of PPC is that you have complete control over the keywords that your organization bids on, which is great. So like you do keyword research for SEO, you can do keyword research for PPC ads and determine what the best traffic for your organization will be. And then you can bid on specific keywords that you want to show up for that are really important to your organization. This also means that you have control over what searches your organization's website doesn't show up for. So unlike SEO, where you can't control if your website is showing up for irrelevant searches, you can control what your organization shows up for, and you can create negative keywords to make sure that your website isn't showing up for specific keyword searches, and you're not spending your money on audiences that aren't your ideal audience. And you can also have customizable ad copy in Google Ads. So Google Ads allows you to test out multiple different ad variations based off of your organization's goals. So in SEO, you still are able to customize your title tag and your meta description to show up a specific way on the search engine results page. But Google Ads allows you to test out multiple variations of how your website will show up. And that way you can determine what the most successful language is for your organization. And you can test out what language gets more clicks and use that across other ads to your site. You also have remarketing features in Google Ads and PPC ads. So you are able to make audiences in Google Analytics and import those to Google Ads. And from there, you can retarget people who have previously already visited your site and engaged with your brand. And that way you can target people that are farther down your marketing funnel. And then, like we said before, PPC brings immediate results. So as soon as you launch your campaigns, you're able to start bidding on those keywords that you want to show up for. And then there are still some weaknesses to SEO and PPC, but the importance of working with these two channels together allows to make up for these weaknesses. So PPC's weaknesses might be some of SEO's strengths and vice versa. Some of the weaknesses of PPC are that it can become really expensive. It runs on pay-based auctions. So if your organization is in a really competitive space and there's a lot of people bidding on the same keywords as you are, then your cost per click can get really high and really costly and may not be ideal for your marketing budget. And also your website won't show up in ads if you stop paying. So if you no longer want to spend money on ads, then you will no longer show up on the search engine results page without some SEO work behind it to show up organically. And also, Google lately has had a lot of policy limitations because of things going on in politics and current events and sensitive events like COVID and other events going on in our society. Google has been limiting the ad copy and types of campaigns that you can run, and that really limits how your organization is able to show up using Google Ads. SEO doesn't have those limitations. You can show up on SEO for sensitive events and have copy that you wouldn't be able to use in PPC. And then also PPC gets less engagement than organic traffic. People are more likely to engage with organic searches. SEO's weaknesses are you don't have control over what keywords you exactly show up for. You can really work hard in optimizing your website for specific keywords that have high impact for your organization, but you may not show up for them. And also you don't have control over what keywords you do show up for. So you might be showing up for things that you don't want to be. Results are not guaranteed, and they may take months in order to see results showing up for SEO. And it doesn't provide you full control. You don't entirely know what the Google algorithm has in store of how your websites will be ranking. But again, PPC's weaknesses are made up by SEO strengths, and SEO's weaknesses are made up by PPC's strengths.
Awesome. So here at Community Boost, we like to use this priorities pyramid as a framework for how we tackle SEO. So we like to start at the bottom where we want to be the solution. And in order to do this, we need to satisfy the searcher's query. And we want to make sure we're answering their queries comprehensively and authoritatively. So that's going to come with all the keyword research and seeing what people are actually searching for. And then next, we want to prioritize the user experience. And you want to provide an easy to use, fast loading, and also well-designed website that's a pleasure for users to interact with. And then next, we want to keep visitors on site. And in order to do that, you want to be able to solve the searcher's next tasks and questions with content and links. And a good example of this is if you have a content piece on mental health and specifically on what someone can expect, maybe when they call like the suicide hotline. And this is a whole content piece giving them a step-by-step on what they should expect. And at the end of that content piece, you should be thinking ahead on what other things they could be looking for. So that's maybe providing additional resources and links, whether it's to like support groups or other internal links on your site that they could find beneficial. And then finally, we want to always test. In order to be competitive, you want to consider some creative interactive elements like snippets and schema markups that'll stand out in the SERP in the first page of Google, basically. So now that we have a framework on how we go about doing SEO, let's go more into detail on the different SEO optimizations that can enhance PPC.
So there are a lot of optimizations that we focus on the SEO front that also can improve our PPC performance. So keywords in PPC are ranked by this metric called quality score. And the three factors that make up a keyword's quality score are expected click-through rate, so how likely someone is to click on your ads based off of those keywords, ad relevance, how relevant is your ad to those keywords and to your landing page, and landing page experience. And your quality score really determines how often your ads are shown on the search engine results page. And one main component of this is landing page experience, which is also affected by your site speed. And site speed is something that we also focus on the SEO side of things. Site speed is exactly what it sounds like. So it's the time that it takes for your website to load. And you can do some optimizations to increase the site speed in order to increase your landing page for PPC experience and also increase your organic performance and organic rankings. So some of those optimizations can be adjusting the size of your photos in order to make them the correct specs for your website, adding alt text to your photos on your website as well. That way Google can crawl your site and understand what is in those photos and understand what the content is on that page. Optimizing code on your site in order to have everything working properly, and reducing redirects on your website as well to ensure, again, that Google can crawl your site. And there are a lot of different optimizations that you can make on your site to increase site speed. And in order to find those, you can use Google's page speed insights. And this will run a report and tell you what your page speed is, and also specific optimizations that you can make in order to increase your site speed. And then you can also do some on-page optimizations to increase your SEO and PPC performance as well. So some of those optimizations can be creating more content to send ads to that follow the SEO's keywords that you want to optimize for, adding the proper H1, H2, H3 headers in that content that you're creating to allow Google to understand what content is on the landing page that you're sending them to. And then optimizing for related keywords. So making sure that the content that you're creating has the keywords that you want to run Google ads to and also optimize SEO for in the actual content, making sure that that language exists on the content page that you're creating. And then lastly, also just adjusting your URL slugs in order to have that appropriately show what your content is about.
Awesome. Next, we want to cover some local SEO optimizations that can enhance PPC and just some benefits of local SEO in general. So what is local SEO? Local SEO focuses on attracting customers in more focused areas, such as those in a particular town or city. It is usually practiced by local businesses or brick and mortar organizations that aim to reach their audience to drive either more foot traffic to their physical location. And some benefits of local SEO is first is greater local visibility, which means more foot traffic, more service customers, and that entail usually is more sales and more donations as well. And then next, more targeted traffic. So optimizing your site for local search delivers more targeted traffic and more traffic for relevant search terms. And then finally, Google Maps visibility. Google My Business optimizations can lead to enhanced Google Maps visibility. And also by using all the features that Google My Business offers, such as connecting your Google My Business to either your ad grant or your PPC account, it can help gain more exposure through local location extensions that Google offers. And some things to keep in mind when you have a physical brick and mortar location, SEO will be beneficial, especially as COVID is slowly coming to an end. Google has specific set local ranking factors that it uses to measure to determine whether or not your organization or business is geographically relevant to a user performing a near me search. So like we said, local SEO focuses on attracting more customers in a smaller area. But if you're pairing it with your PPC and using those local location extensions, these two can go really well together and help you gain that exposure you're looking for. Now that we've covered on what SEO and PPC are and some high level optimizations that can enhance both channels, none of it really means anything until we see it in action. So let's take a look at a case study of an org that we've worked with and are currently working with. It's Quality Start San Bernardino. They are a quality rating and improvement system designed to help childcare programs in preschools. So when they came to us, their goals for SEO are very general. They just kind of wanted to grow their overall organic traffic. They wanted to start ranking key pages like their resource page and their contact us page. And they also wanted to rank for specific keywords like childcare resource and other early childhood keywords that are relevant to their space. So before I dive into the results, I'm going to go over what the strategy our team went with here. So our team went ahead and audited their site and realized that they weren't ranking for many organic keywords. We also saw that their resource page didn't include any of their own resources. They were all linking out to external resources and partners that they've worked with. So there was obviously a huge missed opportunity here. So our team game planned and we looked for opportunities where Quality Start can start ranking. When we did our keyword research, we found that a lot of their current and even old event pages were ranking pretty decently on Google, meaning either on the second or third page. So we took those old event pages and we turned them into either so those old event pages are either pieces of training or informational sessions that they were holding on early childhood childhood learnings, and we turn those into longer tail content pieces that can actually live on the Quality Start's website as resources that their users can refer back to. So some results that we were able to achieve with this strategy and helping them create these content pieces was their site health increase from 77 to 88. Organic traffic before starting to work with us was only 4%. And within 6 months, it's come up to around 27.9%. And they're also doing paid search with us. So paid search traffic went from 0% to 22.3%. And what's nice is once they started doing paid search and pairing it with our SEO, our team was able to connect those local location extensions that we talked about earlier to their Google My Business, which in the next one, Ashley will cover and see what those results were like. And some of the keywords we were able to get on the SERP, which is also just the first page of Google, was keywords like child care resource San Bernardino, desired results developmental profile, social emotional foundations for early learning, ages and stages questionnaire, and also just different variations of these type of keywords, whether it be the acronym or just like longer tail question people are putting into Google that they started ranking for that they weren't ranking for before. And we were also able to increase their total amount of organic keywords. So when Quality Start started with us, they were only ranking overall for like around 385 keywords. They are currently, they've been doing SEO for about 6 months with us. They're around 1,000, a little over 1,000 keywords, which is huge. So I think this also just shows how SEO isn't like a short-term game. Like they didn't go from 300 to 1,000 in just a month. It's been 6 months. And I think it goes back to how it's a long-term investment that it's going to take a while to show results.
And working with them for the past 6 months, one of their main goals was increasing local SEO. And Shukri went over the importance of local SEO. And when they started working with us, they didn't have a Google My Business set up. And this screenshot here is what a Google My Business page looks like. You may be familiar. It usually shows up on like the right column of Google when you're searching on a desktop, and it gives more information about an organization than just a typical website link or organic listing would show. So you can see photos and websites and driving directions and all types of information about your business and organization. So when we started working with them, they didn't have this set up, but it was really important to them to have some local SEO going. And after 3 months of their Google My Business being set up, they were able to receive 56 website visitors just from this Google My Business page. So all of this traffic coming in is really important because they were able to see even more information about the organization than other listings organically or in Google Ads. 12 driving direction clicks, so 12 people looking for directions of how to get to their business, and 15 calls from Google My Business page. So those are all really high impact goals for them and exciting results to see. And then, like Shukri said, we also run their Google Ads account. And so we were able to link their Google My Business to a Google Ads location extension. And this allows for people who view Google Ads, like PPC ads, to view all of this information that's on the Google My Business page. And that just provides a lot more information than the upfront ad. And out of all of those people that viewed a search ad with the location extension in it, 180 people clicked on the extension and viewed all of this Google My Business information, which is great because it's providing them different areas of engagement with the business that they wouldn't have had otherwise with just a typical Google ad. So they're able to get those directions and see the hours and learn a little bit more about their mission and see their photos without having to go on their site. And just in the few months, you're able to see that so many of the Google My Business searches were people who found the business through searching for specific categories, products, or services. So this Google My Business page is showing up for people looking for their services, not branded terms. So those are people higher up the funnel that we were able to target and increase their brand awareness about what Quality Start is, and get people who are looking for the specific service to engage with their website. So it's a big achievement for their local SEO and also for their PPC engagement. And after learning everything with Quality Start and how PPC and SEO work together, we just want to highlight a few key takeaways of how we work our PPC and SEO strategy. So one, they should always be used in conjunction with one another. Not only do they increase the amount of website traffic coming in, but they really make up for each other's shortcomings. So in areas where PPC has weaknesses, SEO is able to fill those gaps and bring in that traffic to your website and vice versa. On-site and off-site optimizations can increase the performance of both strategies. So make sure that when you're optimizing for SEO, you have PPC in mind, and you're able to increase your PPC performance while you're increasing your SEO performance. And lastly, local SEO plays a huge role in enhancing targeted traffic, both organically and through paid search. So as you saw with the Google My Business page, it not only brings in a ton of relevant traffic through just your organic searches and people top of funnel, but also people who are viewing your ads are able to learn more about your organization and overall learn and engage with your website.
Awesome. Before we open up to Q&A, if you are interested in an in-depth SEO audit and a strategy document from our team, the link is, I think, on the next one, Ashley, or maybe not. You would go to communityboost.org/let's talk. In this audit, our team does dive in. We do evaluate what your current SEO strategy is. We audit your site and we see what's working, what title tags are missing, what meta descriptions are missing, see where there's room for opportunity and rooms for where our team can come in, whether it's helping create new content and just giving recommendations. And it's a whole deck and presentation that you'll get also once you do get this audit. And then as well, a reminder that all registrants will receive this full recording of this webinar at the end, I think within like 24 hours. Also join our Community Boost texting community where you'll be able to get digital marketing advice at your fingertips, tips and tricks from our in-house experts, and just updates on any upcoming webinars and events. So I think now we'll open it up to Q&A. It looks like we have a question. Okay, how do you recommend virtual/online businesses to use Google My Business? It can really boost SEO, but it seems to only benefit brick and mortar organizations. Yeah, so this is a good question. I think online businesses also can benefit from Google My Business. There's a lot of features of Google My Business that I think a lot of organizations, if you're specifically like an online business or maybe like an online store, there's options to add your products on your Google My Business. And that gives people more opportunity, whether they haven't landed on your site yet and they're just on your Google My Business. This is opportunity to expose them to whatever products you're selling, what services you're offering, and any sort of images and stuff. So I hope that answers good. And then also as well for Google My Business, it goes really well if you are running PPC ads. So you can link those. So if say maybe it's online, but you still have a physical location or a certain area that you want to target, when you pair it with your PPC, because you already have a Google My Business set up, you'll start showing up for those location people, different locations people are at when they're searching that, like maybe it's shoes near me or similar stuff like that you'll start appearing for. So pairing it with PPC, especially if you're an online or virtual business and organization, I think will be very huge and important.
It also helps a lot with increasing your branding too. So you can add a lot of photos, you can add your phone number, and different ways to contact your business. And so when people are searching for branded terms or anything related to your organization's mission, it can give them an easy way to learn more about your organization and contact you in a simple, like, informational section on the side of your search engine results page.
Yeah. Awesome. Another question is, can you tell us more about bidding, and when it comes to PPC, how much should we be spending?
Sure. So with Google Ad Grant for nonprofits, you can use a Google Ad Grant, which gives you $10,000 of ad spend a month. And so with that ad grant, there comes a lot of restrictions based off of how much you can spend. So typical CPC bid to set it at for an ad grant is $2 max. If you want to use smart bidding, it will set your bids for you. But it's definitely good to keep in mind your end goal. So if you want to give people signups for a specific event that you have to think about the value of whatever conversion you want them to do on site and how much your clicks are really worth an investment. But just based off of the Google Ad Grant restrictions and policies, there is a $2 bid max.
Great. And then also, okay, so Diana had asked, if you have limited capacity and resources, would you recommend getting the actual website on point first, or just to get traffic to your information? We're a nonprofit with limited resources. I don't know if we'll ever look professional, but we need to get the word out about our services. I would highly recommend getting the website on point, meaning it's SEO friendly. So when Google crawls your site, it's going to be crawling basically to see how relevant and if it's SEO friendly, meaning do you have the proper title tags? Do you have the proper H1 headings? Is it going to be relevant to whatever user is going to land on this page? So I would highly recommend getting the website on point and making sure it's SEO friendly. And then after that, the traffic will start coming in. So I know getting the word out is important, but once I think it's here where it comes with, don't take like the easy way, make sure it's actually SEO friendly. And then you'll start seeing that relevant traffic coming in and hopefully getting the word out to you about your free services. Okay, we have another question from Isabel. Once we set up the website, ensure it's SEO friendly, is there a great deal of upkeep time for PPC / Google Ad grants?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that Google ads are, immediate results, but Google will see that your landing pages have changed, or if you add new landing pages, it should essentially immediately view what those landing pages are. And as people start engaging with your ads, then you will be able to get new scores, new quality scores for those keywords, and new landing page experience scores for those changes that you're making on site. So essentially, as soon as you're adjusting your landing pages, your Google Ads results should change as well.
Okay, great. We have another one asking, what kind of keywords should we be focusing on for SEO? Competitive ones or smaller, more niche ones? You want to take that one, Ashley?
Yeah, sure. There are benefits to both, but competitive keywords can get really tricky because there's a lot of people bidding on those keywords. It may be harder to rank organically on the first page of the search engine results. So unlike PPC, where you can bid higher on those keywords, to rank organically, you'll have to make a lot of optimizations on your site, make really good content, and also have really high domain authority in order to rank for those competitive competitive keywords. So yes, they may be important to your business goals, but if they're super competitive, it may take much longer to get on the first page of the search results than it would for more niche and longer tail, less competitive keywords that still relate to your business's organization or your business's goals. And by having some of those longer tail, more niche keywords in, you're still able to target people that are looking for your services, but you won't have as much competition and it won't be quite as difficult to rank for those keywords.
Yeah. Another similar question I guess Adam asked was, how can I tell if a keyword is high demand, low competition, and convey searcher intent? So there are tools that you can utilize. Some are free, some aren't. I know SEM Rush is one of them. Ahrefs is another. You can also, correct me if I'm wrong, Ashley, I think for Google Ad Grant, there's also the Keyword Explorer where you could also see the volume for keywords.
Yep.
But for these type of tools, specifically for like SEM Rush and even like Ahrefs and stuff, you can see when you put in a specific keyword or you want to see what the volume is like, it'll show you what the volume is, and then it'll also show you the keyword difficulty. And what's nice about some of these tools is if it's a really competitive keyword, it'll give you other like recommendations like that might not have as much competition, and they might be longer tail keywords. And most of the times these are like question types of keywords that people are putting into Google. So it's not maybe like a one phrase or two phrase keyword that's really competitive. And maybe it's like, instead of going after that, you can still get the same audience by going after this longer tail keyword that's less competitive. I'm trying to see if I'm missing any other questions. Oh, I think we've answered most of them. Are you able to link those two resources? Yeah, let me pull them up and put them in the chat for you, Adam. We still have some time, so if you guys have any other questions, feel free to throw them in the Q&A box for us. Okay, just put those in the chat for you, Adam. Okay, if there aren't any more, oh, I guess there's one more. Okay, what would you recommend as a good starting place for all this advice for a beginner? I guess I'll start with the SEO front, then Ashley can give advice on where to start, maybe on the PPC front. For SEO, it can seem like a very daunting thing when you want to like, where do I start? We highly recommend first just auditing your site, seeing what's working well and what's not. And those tools, those websites I linked in the chat, sometimes will let you run audits on your site to see what title tags you're missing, what meta descriptions you're missing. So I would start with cleaning up those type of things, like cleaning up the really basic, like your title tags, your meta descriptions first on the SEO front, and then starting with the content analysis, like which one of your contents are ranking, for what keywords are they ranking? So seeing those top pages that are performing well. And then if they aren't performing well, but there is opportunity to start getting them ranking, how can you optimize those pages? So a lot of that's going to start with doing the proper keyword research. So I think when you're doing keyword research, you have to keep in mind, it's not like what you think the user might want. Like, I'm just going to create content just to create it. You have to actually think about, put yourself in the user's shoe and be like, is this going to be beneficial? Is this what they're actually searching for? And so on. And then for also, when you're auditing your site, I think what's important is to remember you are not, it can seem a lot because when you do these audits, they're going to give you a bunch of like either errors or things that are wrong with your site. I think it's important to start small and then move up from there, especially on the SEO front.
Yeah, definitely. And on the PPC side of things, it's definitely really important to just know your goals going into it. So understand what are your organization's priorities in terms of what do you want people to do once they get to your site, because you are putting money behind every single click of an ad for PPC. You want to make sure that the people that are coming to your site are going to convert or do whatever behavior you want them to do once they get there. So once you've identified those goals of what you want them to do on site, then, like Shukri said, start doing some keyword research. Use those tools like Google has a free Keywords Explorer tool, or use SEMrush. There are a lot of different keyword research tools, and see where that traffic is coming in and what people are looking for. And then from there, start running some ads. If you're a nonprofit, I would say first things first, start with getting a Google for Nonprofit account and setting up your Google Ad Grant. That's $10,000 of free ad spend a month to use for nonprofit organizations. So make sure that you have that in place. And then from there, start doing some more research into what people are searching related to the goals that you want them to use once they get to your site.
Yep. And then we have another, can you include the name of the SEO ranking tool in the chat? Yeah, I just included the Ahrefs and SEM. I had originally did post it for all attendees, so that was my bad. It should be in the chat now. Some of these are paid, so you have to pay either, whether it's like a really basic plan, if you want those features of like more advanced keyword research tools, or they're seeing the keyword difficulty and other opportunities for other keywords you could rank for that are low competition.
There are also free tools that you could use, like if you have your Google Ads account set up, use the Google Keywords Explorer, or you could use Google Trends to try to understand what people are searching over time. And then there's a free Chrome extension called Keywords Everywhere that gives you some good ideas about keywords to go after.
Awesome. If there aren't any more questions, I'm going to launch a poll, just kind of seeing if you are interested in in-depth SEO audit with our team. Feel free to answer, and then people on our team will be in contact with you guys. I will leave this on for about a couple minutes, give everyone a chance to answer. Tim had asked, can keywords be zip code specific?
You can in PPC, you can target to specific zip codes. So if you wanted to create a campaign with keywords that only target a specific zip code or a specific city, neighborhood, state, etc., you can set a campaign to only target those locations.
Yeah, for SEO, you can't do by zip code, but you can definitely do by location. So if you are if you are maybe a financial service nonprofit, you can say like financial services in Kentucky, and like adding that at the end of that keyword, you can go after those type of keywords. So it's not zip code specific, but you can do it by like location name. Awesome. Looks like people are answering the polls. I'll leave it up for like another 2 minutes for everyone to get it in. Also, if you're not interested in SEO audit, our team does have other opportunities where they can talk with you on your digital marketing strategy, whether that be on the Google Ad Grant front or even the PPC front, and even just the Facebook front as well. So there's different, if you're good on the SEO front, there's also other options as well. Can you use SEO results to maximize PPC?
You can definitely see what landing pages work the best and what searches people are looking for that work really well in SEO. So if you are ranking really high organically for specific keywords, and specific landing pages continuously rank really well, you can then target in PPC those keywords and also start running ads to those landing pages that work really well, because clearly they have, what the user is looking for. Clearly they are performing well on Google. So you can always use organic searches to inform your PPC campaigns, and vice versa. If you have PPC keywords that are working really well, or different areas of search traffic coming in your Google ads that are working really well, you can also pull that into SEO and start making more specific content in the SEO front to start ranking organically as well.
Awesome. I think everyone's gotten a chance to answer the poll. I'm gonna end it, but if you didn't have a chance to do that, again, you can always just go to on our site, communityboost.org/let's talk, fill out the form, and one of our strategists will be in touch with you. If there aren't any more questions, that is all that we had for you all. We hope you guys found this beneficial, or even just a starting point on how to pair both your SEO and PPC strategies together.